Right now, it's time to deep dive into the collectively crushed soul of the degenerate trifecta in a segment we hate to call BetAches. All right, listen, I've belly ached about betting baseball, so I try to switch it up a little. Now, on the West Coast, I don't know how you guys are, but I wake up on Saturday, and if I don't have anything to do, if I don't have to leave the house for a couple hours, I want something to bet that's on at 9 a.m. Now, the baseball there's usually 1 or 2 games at 10 a.m. on the West Coast, but not that many. I won't have a problem with this in 3 weeks. There's plenty of 9 a.m. kickoffs in college football, but not much going on here except for soccer preseason. And I bet on something called the English Community Shield. I don't know what I'm doing. Liverpool, Manchester City. And I didn't even bet the first half. I watched a little. I was like, oh, these teams aren't scoring. Certainly not both scoring in the second half. I bet them minus 210 to not score, both of them in the second half. I'm good 70 minutes in, then Manchester City scores, and then 83 minutes, sure enough, some shitty handball call. Basically, I don't know what the hell this guy is supposed to do with this arm when he's lunging at the player. Really, I don't know what there's supposed to be. He's supposed to lop them off. Do you have like scissors where you cut you have like these Fogo de Chao knives where you cut your hands off? Because this guy had nothing else to do with his hand except put it where he is. And of course, they call a penalty. And of course, the penalty kick is good. And I lose that bet. Shame on me for betting preseason soccer, but shame on you, Brother Bri. What did you have? You have a great bet ache here.
Well, mine's very different. I will say I've been struggling a lot on baseball. I can't win back-to-back games. It's been impossible for me over the last 2 weeks. I've really been struggling. So I'm watching the Yankee game yesterday. I had actually live bet the Yankees to win yesterday. Of course, they were minus 120 when I live bet them to win, but then they go to minus 4,000 and they blow that game. But in the middle of the game, or I think it's not in the middle of the game, it's about the bottom of the 7th. Benintendi is coming up. So this is the first time ever, right? This is the Sunday game. I did a live player at bat prop. So I was looking at Benintendi. That was like the next batter up. So I was like, all right, let me just jump on this. Because Benintendi, I'm like, he's really been working the counts. He had 6 walks in the prior 3 games, or including that game. In 2.5 games, he had 6 walks against the Royals, which is, he's getting on base. And then I see a walk is 5-1. So I'm like, all right, I'll put $40 on this, make this a little bit interesting. It's like seems like it's 50-50 he's going to walk. Benny gets a 3-0 count. 3-0 count. First three pitches aren't even close. The third one almost hits him, and I was about to go crazy because I was like, oh, a hit by pitch would not win this bet either. So I'm getting really excited. I'm getting really excited. And that 4th pitch is a strike. 5th pitch fouls it off. 6th pitch ground out. So I went from this is the best thing ever. I might start doing these, like putting $10 here, $20 here, to I am never doing this again. I was already like, good. I cannot.
Wow. Might be the best thing for you, Brian.
Yes, of course this is the best case scenario.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely best case scenario.
Listen,
I mean, that and that one, I feel like $40 is for like a live player prop is a lot. Like you really have to do 5-10 pitches.
If he walks on 4 pitches, this consumes the rest of your life. Now you're betting 100 player prop, live player props.
You're so right.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so right. And all I would tell you, all I would have done is I would have live bet just Benintendi at bats probably for the next 2 or 3 games, which I'm trying to stay away from.
We should do that. We should each be assigned a player to live bet for the next week, every at bat.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
great.
Gosh. Let's see how we do.
Brian, back in 1994, when I moved to Vegas, I joined my cousin's softball team, and we went to the bar afterwards, and some guy's playing video poker, and I asked him, what's this? He's like, you want to go partners? I'm like, sure. Of course, it's gambling. It's video poker. We go $10 each. We hit a royal for $1,000. I was so happy and whatever, but it was the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life.
Of course.
Now
Harry won us thousands of dollars, Parlay Kid, when we went out there. What was it, in 95? He playing roulette, and then he famously thought he had a system. And then took off.
Well, I do have a system. I'm not denying I don't have a system.
Yeah, a system for losing. Yeah. Bri, was there any way you could have hedged when the count was 3-0?
I don't know. I don't think that. I think I'm so far behind. It's funny because I think in order to bet, I was like 2 at bats away, right? Because you're always behind when you're trying to live bet.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I think I was 2 at bats behind. So once you're in in that, you definitely.
I just wonder what was the live line for a walk when the count was 3-0.
That was, I really was almost going crazy because I was like, Benintendi had to dive out of the way because he almost got hit in the shin. I was like, this would have been one of the worst losses because it wasn't a walk hit by pitch. Right. It was walk.
Hit by pitch was separate.
So I was like, 2-0, going to a 3-0 count and being hit would have been the worst thing.
I love it. Did you the ground out was a strike at least?
Yeah. The second pitch that he fouled off was a little high. It probably was still a strike. All right. I mean, it was, yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? Parlay
Kid, you have a more conventional bet ache. I love that one, but what do you got?
Well, it's conventional in one sense that I had a parlay, 9-team baseball parlay, Sal. And the thing with this parlay is I really, if I'm doing a baseball parlay, I understand that the chances of hitting it are really slim. And I don't get too up or down about it. But for some reason on this parlay, I felt like I had really good pitching matchups. And I have a 9-teamer paying out at almost 48-1. And I sent this to Brian and Harry too. So this isn't something I'm just making up. I mean, they have they have the bet. Look, I only paid $25 on it. So let's not get crazy here in terms of my loss. But Sal, I hit 8 out of 9. My only loser is the Tampa Bay Rays with Shane McClanahan on the mound. Has his worst start of the year. And here's the thing. And the reason why it's a bet ache for me, and I knew one of these was going to lose, but the reason why it's a bet ache is just literally 24 hours before that on a text to Brian and Harry, I said, I'm never betting on the Rays again because I said, I'm done with the Rays. But I thought I'd jump on one more time with Shane McClanahan because he's always so good. So, but just literally about 24 hours before that, I said, guys, I can't bet the Rays anymore. There's too many games where they score like 0 or 1 run. And I can't trust them. Well, they did score 3, but they lost 5-3. McClanahan gave up 5 runs, which is unheard of for him against an average Guardians offense. So that
we constantly jinx our own bets. We really do. Brother Bri, you bet the Yankees yesterday, only a few hours after a text exchange with our friend Trevor, a lifelong Royals fan, saying this team is terrible. I don't know how they won a World Series and almost won 2. It's hard to believe they were ever winners. And then, of course, they dropped the Sunday game.
Of course they dropped that one. Yeah, and the thing was that was 4-0. Yankees came back and took the 6-4 lead. I mean, that was the thing. They were 14-1, the Royals, to win that game at that point. So, the Rays, I mean, there are games where that lineup just does not hit at all. So they actually cost me a 12-1 yesterday as well. But I will say, I'm gonna come back with the Rays in the next game.
Parlay Kid, you say like, well, 9-team teamer, we don't expect to win it, but at some point you do. Like 6 or 7 in, you expect to win. Certainly 8 teams in, and you got the American League All-Star starter on your side.
The thing is, it wasn't the last one. It was probably like the 5th one to come in. It was like the 5th. It was probably right in the middle. But I have to be honest with you. I knew that one. Because I had even texted them. I said, I think this is going to be the one that I lose with. I thought I really liked every other game was in, I had the Giants going off later in the day, but I felt really good about them. They cruised to a win. It was tough. And by the way, so one thing I actually finally, I did have the White Sox on. It's the first time they didn't screw me all year. Your Dylan Cease, that guy's been great.
I liked it. I had him yesterday too. I was worried. They were down 1-0. Like I was about to text him, like, son of a bitch with these White Sox. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Right away. But the guy's given up like 4 earned runs in his last 50-something innings. I mean,
he's hot.
He's been unhittable. And I think you have him for Cy Young, right?
I certainly do. I cursed or I jinxed Lucas Giolito the previous year. I think I had him for most strikeouts, and he's like kind of falling apart. Let's check that because I know we have another player award that we're going to have to celebrate in a second. But just for Cy Young, Cease is plus 480. He's third. You're the aforementioned McClanahan plus 240 and Verlander favored plus 155.
He's looking good.
Yeah. 9 teams is tough, Parlay Kid. It really is because one of them is going to get screwed up, right? I mean, if you have 9 kids, one of them is likely to be arrested for masturbating on a subway, right? Like it just
this is true.
Something's going to get screwed up. Harry, you have the Rays also as your bet egg?
Yeah, I did okay with extra points over the weekend, hit everything over the weekend on my video, but still, I had 2 6-teamers this past weekend. this past week. And one of them happened to be yesterday too, also with the Rays. And I had them plus 1.5 runs on a 6-teamer. Plus 1.5, lose 5-3 at like minus 450. And Darren mentioned McClanahan gave up 5 earned runs most of the season. And that was a loser. And then like a couple days before, of course, it was stupid me taking the Royals on a 6-teamer. Royals plus 1.5, lose to the Angels 4-0. Only series, and that was the rubber game of a 3-game series. Only
what day was
series.
That? What was that? 2
Wednesday,
weeks ago?
3 weeks
Wednesday.
ago.
Wednesday.
Royals
It's like 10 days
versus Angels. Just saying, Royals versus Angels plus 1.5. Another parlay, 6-teamer. Only loser was the Royals plus 1.5 runs, and it was the only series the Angels won all July.
All right. There you go. All right. So I think we need baseball to go away for a little bit, and certainly soccer to go away already. It hasn't even started. We need to go away. Hey.
Got the W in soccer yesterday, though, Willingham. We got there.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I had the English women in regulation, so I don't even know what I did there. So that was garbage. BetAches is brought to you by PropSwap. Football season around the corner. Yes, PropSwap's the best way to avoid a betache this fall. PropSwap allows you to list your bet for sale and guarantee a win before a betache strikes. With thousands of buyers across the country, you'll always get the most amount of money for your bet on PropSwap, like Harry, who cashed in big on his Cincinnati Bengals Super Bowl future last year. Yes. Remember that, Harry? You don't even remember.
Yeah. You guys are laughing at me.
I think this is news for you because you didn't watch the game. Yeah. But when you're making your bets, make sure go for 2, make 2 tickets on the same team so you could sell one for a profit and keep one to let it ride. Go to PropSwap.com or download the free PropSwap app today. Now it's time for another edition of the Extra Prop of the Week. This week's prop focus is, guys, Thursday night, we have football. It really is back. Hall of Fame game between Bri's Raiders and the Jacksonville Jaguars. What will be the total number of points scored by both teams? Bri, you want to guess?
38.
30.
That's
so
maybe high.
That's high.
That's high. That's
well,
high, yeah.
You could say it. The over under I think is 32.5 right now. And if you look at all those week 1 games, the first team, I don't know. We're seeing what it is at Parlay Kid. We're seeing like vanilla offenses, and a lot of the defenses are playing. So there's going to be a stat coming out this week about the Hall of Fame game being way under over the last decade or so. But 32.5 is a total. Yes, enter. Tweet us your guess at Extra Points Pod and at PropSwap using the hashtag Extra Prop. You must be following both accounts to win. The winner, oh boy, a $400 Raiders to win the AFC West ticket, courtesy of PropSwap. Currently 7-1. Beautiful. You'll win $400 if you get that. Go to PropSwap.com or download the free PropSwap app today. PropSwap, where America buys and sells sports bets.